celebrating 40 years of Spinal High School, and this afternoon we are joined by the man who the education center has been named after, that being Mr. Riyaadh Najaar. Mr. Riyaadh Najaar, Assalamu alaikum, shukran
Walaikum
for joining
salam
us.
wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Mr. Najaar, let's start at the beginning. Let's start as your journey in education. Take us through that. Where did it all start for you?
Oh, that's many years ago. I always wanted to be a teacher because my mother was a teacher and my father was an Islamic teacher. So, them being my role models, I always aspired to become some sort of teacher. I then matriculated at a very good school, Harold Cressy High School, and was accepted at Hewitt Teacher Training College in 1973, I started there and completed my teacher's diploma in 1975 and started teaching. My first post was at South Peninsula High School in 1976. I stayed at South Peninsula High School for about 6 years, and then the department at that time transferred you if you were involved or with some form of activism against the state of affairs then, which was the apartheid state, and my subject being history, which lent itself to obviously teaching the learners the true history of our country. And then I was transferred to Sonder Endweg Primary School in 1981. And, you know, that coming from an affluent school like South Peninsula to a very economically marginalized community in Menenberg really humbled me. And I think the few years I spent there really taught me about the service that we have to give as teachers in order to give those marginalized learners an opportunity to also make a success of their lives. I was then transferred because I finished my degree and then was transferred to Phoenix High School, and in 1984 I started at Spinrod when Spinrod opened under the leadership of Mr. Adnan Davis, who was the principal then. The first, like I said, the first 10 years was tough for the school because we got all the remnants of the other schools' learners that they did not want. And it was tough, and we had also the 1985 uprising, which affected the school greatly. And in 1993, Mr. Davis retired, and I took over the helm at the school. I was 37 years old. I had no experience, but you know, through dedication and commitment to ensuring that we give every child a quality education that walks our corridors. And alhamdulillah, it's also the teachers played a pivotal role, and we had to select quality teachers teachers that were passionate in giving to these children what they expect for their own children. And that was always been the school's motto, is to give what we expect for our own children. And we've got an excellent staff here currently, and the staff who's taken over the baton with Mr. Fairbairn at the helm. They're continuing and also improving on the results and also the image that the school projects to the rest of the community and to the country. Spinal High is an institution of excellence. You know, they achieve much better holistically than any school with better facilities, with higher school fees. So the stereotype that the society has placed on schools in marginalized communities, Spinal High has shown that that is a fallacy, that with commitment from the staff, good leadership, and also learners that want to achieve, then the world is their oyster and they can do whatever they can. The school has produced excellent people, not only in academics but also in co-curricular and extracurricular activities and sport, Springbok rugby players, athletes, ultra marathon. There is many, and culturally as well. Emo Adams, and his brother Lukman, and many others that have come through this school. The school is a beacon of hope for those in the community that feel that only a good education can be achieved in the affluent areas.
So of course your tenure at the school, ranging from the early 80s to the late to around 2018, of course filled with both the good and bad, right? And you mentioned the first 10 years being filled with lots of difficulties. Take us to the siege, the day of the siege of Spider High School. As of course part of the leadership of the school itself, how did you manage to deal with it? Of course, you being a history teacher and telling the truth because that is what you need to do. How did you take us back to that day?
Well, it was a really a sad day in the history of the school, but also a day that showed us that, we need to up our game in terms of ensuring that the learners who were sacrificed then during those years, their futures were sacrificed for a greater future, for a greater cause. And on that day, on the 29th of August, when the school was attacked because of its stance against apartheid education. And the school, like I said, became a fulcrum from which all liberatory vitriol and emanated. So that day was a fateful day, and all of us vowed that never again would we sacrifice the children, their futures, and what we could give them. So we would never ever from that day onwards see that a period is lost, a day is lost, and we give it to the children at all costs.
Of course, you mentioned what the sacrifice of those that lost their lives on that particular day, and we heard that Spider High School had a matriculate pass rate of 40%, and then moving on to 70%, and then 100% in 2014, 2017, and again in 2024. Speak to us about the effort that has been put in, because of course it's your belief that learners should have a balance. Spider High School has about 20 extramural activities. For a learner to at least have one in order to still have that joy in education. Take us through the effort that has been put in order to mold the success stories that have come out of Spider High School.
Well, that's a very interesting question, and thank you for that question. A healthy mind needs a healthy body. And the success of the school is based on the fact that, like you said, that we needed extra mural activities to be functional. We need to compete with what is happening out there. The learners must rather be happy to rather come to school than belong to the gangs and the peer pressures that they find out there. So by creating that environment at the school, taught the learners sort of sport, teaches discipline, teaches camaraderie, teaches equality. So those aspects which you cannot teach in a classroom, it can only be taught through sport. And that is why the school is so successful. The school has now currently 4,000 applications for 250 spots in grade 8. So the school has earned the right to have all those applications because people from all over, not only Mitchell's Plain, are flocking to get their children in at Spine Road High School. So, and this we feel should be mirrored at all our schools. Our schools should take the recipe of Spine Road and ensure that the school becomes a school of choice. And that is how we're going to raise standards. Yeah, that is, I hope I've answered you fully there.
No, you did a good job of it. So, and again, testament to the work that you, Mr. Riyaadh Najaar, has put in. Of course, being here today, the reason we all came today is not only to celebrate Spine Road High School's 40-year anniversary, but having the education center being renamed after you. How does that make you feel?
Oh, it's a proud moment. I'm honored, I'm humbled that the school and the school committee and whoever decided that. But there are many, many who played a pivotal role in the success of the school. I was just one of them. And let's hope that the baton is passed on to others who can also try and improve on what is currently happening. But I am extremely honored, I'm privileged, and I feel it's a great day for me that it has done today, and on the 40th anniversary of the school. I've been at the school for 40 years. I'm retired now, but Spine Road is part of me, and it's part of my legacy and part of everything that I do.
So one last question. Of course, Spine Road has become a school of choice. It set the standard and has been able to contribute towards the community. And of course, if we have more schools within the community doing what schools like Spine Road is doing, creating success stories, having people influence communities, of course doing good. What's your message to other schools that would also like to have this impact, not only just on the community, because you mentioned the likes of the Adams brothers, Wasif Pikan, Rochelle from Tafelsig, the first doctor, coming from a school like Spine Road High School. And of course, these individuals, they can go out into the world. They can go and make an impact on the world. What is your message to other schools that would also like to produce individuals that can do that?
It all starts with the passion to improve yourself and the community. So schools and teachers need to ensure that they enter this profession for the right reasons, in order to serve. And I think too many, with due respect to those who are passionate, too many have entered this profession for the wrong reasons. Teaching is a calling, and being placed in a community that struggles is a blessing. It is, and you've taken on this calling to ensure that you give your all. You can never become super rich by being a teacher, but you'll be rich in all other aspects in terms of what this profession gives you. And I always tell the teachers, in 20 years from now, if children out there speak about you and the impact that you've had on their lives and the positive impact you've had, then you've done your job. But if they speak negatively, then you have failed as a teacher. So to the schools and to the leadership at schools, ensure that you get the right staff. Ensure that teachers take on extramural activities. And you only get to know the children truly outside of the classroom. And they will then, you won't have disciplinary problems. The teachers here at the school, we have minimal disciplinary issues because they know, the children know that the teacher cares and the teacher is there for them and not there to admonish them only, but to steer them in the right direction so that they can succeed.
Najaar, shukran so much for your
Shukran,
time.
privilege is mine. Inshallah, shukran. Afwan.